When I ever see Croc Legend of the Gobos anywhere, whether it be on eBay for people asking for extraordinary amounts of money for old games, or whether I just see it kicking about on backup copy websites, it always brings back memories of my childhood. Released in 1997, developed by Argonaut Software and published by Fox Interactive, Croc Legend of the Gobos was a platform game on the PlayStation 1 that just lives in my head rent-free. I have so many awesome memories of playing this over a friend's house. I did not own it as a kid, but I played it a lot with a friend, and I had a really good time with it. Of course, it came out in 97, so it was still in the early days of 3D platformers, and although it does play with tank controls, I like the controls in Croc much better than Croc 2. I'll get to Croc 2 very, very soon, but Croc Legend of the Gobos is just a... well, it's a very charming game. You run around as the titular hero, Croc, and you have to go and rescue little furry bollocks, basically, called Gobos, from the evil big bad guy called Baron Dante. And all the way through running and jumping and tail whipping and butt slamming your way through the levels. You can also collect gems which will get you through a secret door that you can then rescue more, essentially. It was received incredibly well on the PlayStation when it came out, and it sold over 3 million copies. I mean, that was good for then. I mean, when you, well, the sheer amount of games that came out for the PS1, it's amazing that any one game would sell over 1 million. Of course, Croc did take inspiration from Super Mario 64, as with a lot of games did back then. You know, putting all the different running, jumping, climbing, swimming, all that kind of stuff. And the Croc, and the camera is not too bad considering it's for an older game. Now, there are some parts of a level where you can actually go back through it again. It takes place, if you've ever played Crash Bandicoot, you've got kind of like an overworld, and then you just select your level as you move along through, and you can go back and replay through the stages because there are various collectibles that you can collect as well. There are 6 Gobos that are always hidden in the levels, and kind of like with Rayman, you know, you want to go back and you want to get them all, and that's where the addiction comes in. But I still remember seeing Croc in all the PlayStation magazines and just poring over those pages, looking at how colourful it was, and just, because of course back in the late 90s, well, mid to late 90s, this was all new. 3D gaming was completely new, and all these polygonal environments and all that kind of stuff was just mind-blowing for us younger kids back then. But unfortunately, we then have to move on to 1999's Croc 2. Developed once again by Argonaut Software, but also by Natsume Co. for the Game Boy Color release. Now, also Croc 1 was released on Game Boy Color. Obviously, I'm not talking about the Game Boy version, and the Game Boy versions are always a lot less enjoyable than the PlayStation ones. Now, Croc 2 is a game that picks up not long after the first game, where a Professor Gobo is captured by the Dantinis, and the evil Baron Dante is resurrected, and off you pop again to go and rescue Gobos. Now, it's nothing super original and super new, and this game is once again jam-packed full of collectibles and all that kind of stuff, but they also put in vehicles like go-karting, speedboats, hang gliders, etc. And there are like 100 crystals to find scattered throughout the levels, which again is fine. And the biggest problem with this game is the damn controls. They removed the tank controls, which some people will probably be like, yay, but unfortunately it handles very, very dreadfully, and the camera sucks absolute donkey dick. And it's just such a shame, really, because this game, Croc 2, was released mixed to average on all the platforms. It was also supposed to come out on the Dreamcast, but it got cancelled in 2000, obviously because of the Dreamcast. It was a commercial failure, even though the Dreamcast is a fantastic console, and its biggest problem was that it did not have a DVD player, and that's it, basically. Now, also, you can collect trophies in the different villages, and there are 4 Gobo villages with the levels surrounding them, and you just run around and try and just do your thing, essentially. It's not as good as the first Croc, and, well, that's just unfortunate, and that is essentially what happens to Croc. It received a sequel where they broke what wasn't broke and tried to fix what wasn't fixable. There was nothing wrong with Croc 1's movement, in my opinion. I don't mind tank controls. I didn't mind tank controls for the original Resident Evils, Silent Hill, etc. Dino Crisis. I still can't believe we haven't got an updated Dino Crisis. Capcom, what are you doing? But I would like to see Croc be ported to the PlayStation 5 with some achievements. I would love to see that, but if not, then you can always get the backup copy like myself, or if you're a video game collector, you can always go and buy it physically if you so choose. Croc 1 is definitely worth giving a go. It's a very charming 3D platformer. Croc 2, however, can burn in hell because it's just nowhere near as good. But let me know down below, did you play Croc as a kid, or is it something that you picked up more at a later date? And as always, thank you very much for watching.